Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in this lesson we are going to be treating character analysis, and the first character that we are going to be treating is of course Ajanaku. All right, so without further ado, let's begin. If you are asked about a particular character, maybe you're asked about the roles and the contribution of a particular character, make sure that you start with the theme that best resonates with that character, or make sure that you start with the general theme. So as it stands now, the general theme here is the theme of dictatorship, and it also resonates with the character of Ajanoku. So the next paragraph is to do the character description, which I have done here. Now for character description, you are expected to write everything that the playwright or the author has brought out about that character, physical, trait, and then you end it with some of his roles, in passing. Okay, so if peradventure in this play they are described Ajanaku, maybe he's fat, he's tall, is this, his age, you understand? These are the things that examiner expects that you put down whilst you are making or writing your character description. Do you understand? Okay, so let's just do a quick character description. If you have other things that you feel you can add to it, then it's all good, right? So let us start. Is the villainous protagonist whose excessive quest for power eventually led to his downfall. He is the illegitimate son of Sherubaon, a result of the illicit affair Sherubaon, the medicine man, had with Demoke King Akinjobi's second wife. He got the name Ajanoku from his father due to his unusual strength as a child. His real name is Olaniyono. He is forcefully married. He forcefully married Omoyene, who is betrothed to another man. He is ruthless and a usurper, of course. And you can also add this, that is the king. If you look at the last sentence, you will see that these are some of his roles. Okay, so you can actually put, when you tell us the physical traits, so it can be any character. Just make sure that whatever character you are writing about, if there is any physical description, make sure that it is at this point that you put his physical description. If he's a school teacher, if he's a king, if he's, you get, yeah, this is where you put everything. But make sure that you end your character description with a role or two. You are not writing it, extensively. You're just putting it just as we have it here. So now let's go to some of his roles. You can also add your own. Okay, let's see what you come up with in the comment section. With this, you can also be helping other students. Now the first is that he's a usurper, and a usurper is someone that forcefully takes the throne that does not rightfully belong to him. Ajanaku desperately seeks to become the king, even though he knows that he's not the rightful person to ascend the throne according to the custom and traditions of the land. Instead of respecting the traditional process, he works with corrupt kingmakers, especially Sherubaon, who helps manipulate the customs and traditions to make Ajanaku king. He bribed some of the kingmakers with gifts so as to win them to his side, and consented to the Olubori rite, even though Oba Akinjobi was still alive. This act already shows that Ajanaku's leadership is built on deceit and corruption. If you pay attention to if you paid attention um, to the previous video where I give a detailed summary, you would realize that he is the kind of person that can do anything to be in a position of power. And he really didn't care, even though his supposed father, because at that time he didn't even know that the king was not his real and biological father. So he is that kind of person that would defy all odds to make sure that he gets what he wants. Because on a normal day, according to tradition, the current king, even though he is sick, is supposed to be given credence to, not go behind him to want to crown another person the king. And if you recall, Iyagba actually insinuated how that Ajanaku was involved in the death of Akinjobi, so that he can ascend the throne. Like, okay, you are a vegetable, but then you are still alive. So let's just quicken the process so I can be to his own supposed father. Okay, because if he had known that he wasn't his father, it would have, been another game entirely. But that kind of person that can do that to his own father, that kind of person that can do that to his own father would really not stop at anything to make sure that he gets what he wanted. He's a tyrant. And if you had read the play, you would see that his reign was short but brutal. Short but brutal. So let me quickly read. Once Ajanaku becomes king, he begins to rule with arrogance, greed, and cruelty. Rather than protecting the people, he exploits them for his personal gain. He imposes heavy demands on the poor and seizes their farmlands. This is evident in how he forcefully takes over the land which was brought to his palace to settle, just because the land is rich with crops. He also demands more and more tribute from the neighboring village who have come to seek protection from them, and upon their refusal, he asks that Belei be stripped. Belei is one of the chiefs that came, to meet Ajanaku for support. He asks that Belei be stripped, flogged, and put in the sun for refusing to pay more tribute. He also tells the people on his coronation day that he will not walk in the footsteps of his predecessors. He ignores the tradition that are meant to guide the kingdom. Instead of being a guardian of culture and traditions, he becomes someone who destroys and dishonors them. A leader is supposed to lead by example. How do you expect the followers, how do you expect the villagers to honor traditions when you have even dishonored it? Imagine Sherubawan wanting to do the Olubori right. Or why would you even want to do that? And even if Sherubawan is this dubious and self-centered person, you as the leader should not. If it really doesn't matter how many years you stay on that throne, what matters is the legacy that you leave behind, regardless of how many years or how many weeks or months. Now, his reign was short, but no, I'm sure that the people of that village would never want a leader like that again. It's just like that. I'm not going to mention it again. So he dishonors tradition just for his own selfish reason. Now he is selfish. He wants every good thing of life to himself and takes the ones out of his reach by force. He rapes Desola and five other virgins in a bid to be immortal. He immediately seizes the farmland when he learns that it is rich in cocoa, vegetables, and palm kernels. He takes Omoyeni, who belongs to another. He wanted more tribute and gets angry when he was rejected. See, everything that is not supposed to be his, he collected it by force. Imagine the farmlands. Now they brought a dispute, even though there hasn't been a lasting solution to this dispute, because one of them recalled that, oh, okay, this particular people and this particular land issue had been since my father Akinjobi. So why are they coming here again? And they said, oh, that there is no lasting solution. That the solution that they usually give is just one that would that will last for some time. So now he is supposed to be like, okay, let me go give a lasting solution. But unfortunately, the lasting solution that he is able to give is the one that benefits him alone. Upon hearing that the land is rich, not just one crop, the land, he was like, so you've been having all of these things to yourself. Then don't worry. This is my own judgment. Both of you will not have access to that land again. The land belongs to the royal palace, and we will be managing it henceforth. And the way he even dismissed them flippantly, as though they really do not matter much. These are your followers. These are the people that would say good things about you. If you don't make your followers happy, then your reign too will not be good. But he forgot all of that as long as it benefits him. And also, another selfish part of him is he taking, of all the maidens in that village, you decide to take the woman that belongs to another man. And to think that Omoyene's guy, betrothed, Omoyene's fiancé, had to work with Omoyene's father just so that he could be able to marry Omoyeni. So after the toil, the sweat that Delani had gone through in the house of Omoyeni just to be able to marry their daughter, you took her for yourself. And you even threatened her, because there's a part in the play where Omoyeni confessed to Iyagba that she didn't want to do it, but as she was protecting her parents, he had threatened that he was going to kill her parents if she doesn't marry her. So imagine a leader that would take something that does not belong to him by force. That is the kind of leader that Ajanaku is. And now, one thing that you need to understand is that for every time that they ask you about a particular character, do make sure that you put the significance. Like, this is the first set of examination that you'll be writing in May, June in this syllabus. So we are not sure where the exam would come from. But just in case they ask you the role and significance of this a particular character, make sure that even if they do not put significance there, make sure that you are ending your role, you are ending your writing with a significance. If they ask you about a role and significance, I have mentioned it earlier, you have to start your first paragraph with the major theme, okay? And if that theme also resonates with that character that they're asking you, that's amazing, okay? Your first paragraph should be the same. The second paragraph should be the character description, as we have done earlier in this video. The third paragraph should be the roles. What are the things that he did? What are his contribution to the play? Okay, and then the last is significance. When you see this significance, what it means is that what or who does this particular character represent beyond the confine of the play, beyond the confine of who can you relate this particular character with in the society. All right, and here we have been able to establish that Ajanaku represent leaders in Nigeria and Africa at large who force their way into positions of power and will go to any length to make sure they retain the title while ruling with iron hand without any care in the world. So when you see significance, you should ask yourself, it's not that the playwright decides to say, oh, decide in his it's not that the playwright decides that, oh, I'm bored, let me just write. No, the playwright would probably have seen something, would definitely have seen something in the society and decide to correct it through writing. And this is just a good representation of our system, our political system in Nigeria and Africa at large. And Ajanaku is that kind. I'm sure that I don't want to mention names, but I'm sure that you know who you can easily equate Ajanaku, with in our society. So next video we'll be treating Sheruba one. Okay. Till I come your way, next video. Bye.